friends, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will be talking about the speaking section of your TOEFL exam and how exactly to score 30 out of 30 in the speaking section of your TOEFL exam. So let's dive deep into it. If you're new here, my name is Afsha. I am a foreign graduate pharmacist studying over here in the US, and on this channel, I make videos relating to TOEFL and FPGE exam. Speaking of the TOEFL speaking section, there are 4 tasks that you need to be completing in order to score the maximum number of points in this section. I see teachers teaching their students how to follow a certain template, but I personally don't believe in that. Task number 1 on the speaking section of your TOEFL exam is usually going to be independent speaking. By independent speaking, I mean the exam is going to throw a question at you, something like, today's younger generation is more interested in charity. Do you agree or disagree? Give your views and support your answer. Now, a way to handle that would be just thinking about the randomest thing that come into your head and then make up a reply. Because remember, on TOEFL, you're only given 15 seconds to construct your response and then 30 seconds to speak. I don't want you to be following a certain kind of template in order to go about it. Response should follow a very basic and minimal pattern, something like agree, disagree, reason 1, reason 2, and conclusion. And once we get into the habit of taking notes like that and speaking like that, we can do that on autopilot. So your response would something be like, in my view, I totally agree that the younger generation is more interested in charity for 2 important reasons. Now see, here's where I'm telling them there are 2 reasons to support my answer that I agree with the fact that the younger generation is more interested in charity. And then reason number 1, because they're more sensitive. Now I want you to be avoiding certain mistakes like I just did, so you don't want to be sound like you're thinking in middle of when you're speaking in the 30 seconds on the speaking section of your TOEFL exam. Remember, when these stuttering, these stammering or stuff like we usually tend to, do it subconsciously when we're speaking to another person on your TOEFL exam. This is counted against you, and this is the reason most of the students who know English very well, they speak English very well, end up flunking the speaking section of the TOEFL exam, because in the middle of the response, in the middle of the 30 seconds that they're given, they're like, I agree that the younger generation is more interested in charity for 2 important reasons. Number 1, because they're more sensitive. No, you want to be sounding very confident and on the go. You need to be sounding like you know what you're saying, you have constructed your response, and you're confident. That's about it. That's all they need to test you on. So be very confident and go like, I totally agree that younger generation is more interested in charity for 2 important reasons. Number 1, I think they're more sensitive. For example, I remember when I was studying in school, I had a friend who had a charity house open online, and she was collecting money for the needy. Now she owns an NGO and helps a lot of needy children do that. Number 2, they're not materialistic. For example, yesterday night when I was going back home from office, I saw this homeless man sitting by the road, and then I saw a young guy who came out of his car, gave the homeless guy some food and also his coat to fight the cold. And these are the 2 reasons I think younger generation are more interested in charity. Full stop. That's it. So you see how I went with the flow and how I wasn't stammering or stuttering or thinking in the middle of speaking. That's how you want to be doing on the actual exam in the speaking section of your TOEFL exam. And I know this takes practice. It's not going to come in the first hand. It takes a long time, and practice makes perfect. And speaking of practice, I'm doing a completely free webinar on TOEFL, which is going to be packed with so much value. It's going to have all the important tips and tricks and all the strategies from experts and myself. If you fancy joining that, there's a link in the description box down below.